So here in Australia, we are about to hit Amputation Awareness Week. I don't know if that's Australia or like a worldwide date. But, so, Amputation Awareness Week, so I thought I would bust some amputation myths. Or weird things or weird dumb things I've heard about being an amputee. So, let's jump right in. You can never shave your leg again. I've seen multiple things about this. I can never shave again. I'm going to have a hairy stump for the rest of my life. Which, as a female, a lot of us like to be hairless. So I've seen a lot of posts from females about this. You can shave your stump. The reason that they say you shouldn't shave your stump is because when you use a razor that we normally use to shave, it goes really close to the skin. And then if our liners are, in case you're new to the channel, these are the liners that are on our legs, and they're thick, silicone, like rubbery, they don't breathe at all, you sweat a ton, I mean you pour sweat out of these things in summer. So it's really easy to get an ingrown hair, or like one of your hair follicles to get an infection, because it just lives in hot, sweaty, infection-growing temperatures. And something like an ingrown hair can turn into a really big problem. And as soon as you've got an infection or an open wound of any kind, even a little one, if you keep wearing it and keep it in this infection-growing, bacteria-filled sweat box on your leg every day, it can turn into a really big infection, and then you're out of your leg for quite some time. Correct. However, you can still shave your leg. I use a men's beard trimmer, similar to what I use to reshave my patch, and I just shave downwards so it doesn't like lift the hair follicle, and yeah. So it's like a one blade, essentially, or I guess it's like a zero blade, but it's not as close as a razor shave. I've never had a problem. I do it all the time. And it doesn't cut the hair back so that it can get ingrown. So if you hear that, perhaps let the amputee know that another amputee told you if they're worried about their hairy stump, they can shave using a beard trimmer, like you use for these. You can buy mini ones though, so I just shave, done. So, myth busted, you definitely can, and it's safe because I am in this sweaty thing all the time as well. So yeah, I wouldn't shave with a razor so it's close, but you can shave. You don't have to have a hairy stump all the time. I've recently heard this weird one from a few amputees. Apparently, we have to eat so much more food. Apparently, amputees just have to consume a ridiculous amount of calories more than an average person. News to me. I am going to bust that one as well and say, if that's true, I would be much, much thinner than I am. Because if my calorie output was so much larger, now that I'm an amputee, I would be much thinner by now than I am. Because I've been counting my calories extremely well for, let's say, the last sort of 4 or 5 weeks. I mean, like, I've been back on the train and counting them. If that's the case, then I would be losing a shit ton more weight if I was apparently burning so much more, because my BMR, like the amount of calories that I burn in a day, if it's that high, and I've been eating so low, that I would be in such a deficit that I would be losing so much weight. You say that's not true. Amputees do use more energy to do stuff. That's true. I think they say that a below knee is about 20% more energy just to do daily stuff. So just to walk takes about 20% more energy than when you've got 2 flesh feet. So, and I think an above knee is like 40% more, so it's quite a lot more energy. We've got a lot better prosthetics these days. A lot of people that are above knees have robotic knees as well, so that takes less energy out. I would say yes, we definitely do use more energy, so that would equate to being able to eat a little bit more, as your daily burn would be a bit higher, but it is not, it's just the dumbest thing I've ever heard, that apparently we have to eat so much more. Trust me, if that was the case, I would be much smaller already than I am now. So, yes, we use a little bit more energy. It's not outrageously huge amount of energy extra that we use. It's enough that I notice it sometimes. It's enough that if I'm being active, I notice it. So it depends what you're doing. I don't really notice it at the gym that I use a ton more energy. I do notice it, so when I moved house, I'm in a new home. I'm going to take you guys on a tour and show you how I set up my home on another video, so you can see all of the things I use in my house to make my life a little bit easier. It's not as many as you would think, by the way. There's not as much things you need to change. But yes, when I moved, I noticed that. But it wasn't just that, it was my other ankle that I crushed. Hated the day because it was so much standing around. You know, you stand to unpack and stand to unpack. So it was also my flesh foot. So that wasn't really just an amputee problem, that was also I crushed both legs problem. So, yeah. No. We do not get to eat tons and tons more calories. That is... Well, I wish that was the case. Good lord, that'd be fantastic. What's some others? I have some notes. Sorry, I'm reading. Here's a good one. You will have horrendous nerve pain. I was told this before I had the amputation. You will have nerve pain. You will have horrendous nerve pain. It's debilitating. You're going to get it so bad that you're going to wish that you kept your foot, blah, 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 blah. Yes, all amputees will experience some kind of nerve pain, like phantom pain, same. You will experience it, yes, especially right after surgery, when your nerves, they've just been cut. So you're going to have surgery pain. Yes, and that will be nerve pain as well. You will experience some, but not everybody experiences debilitating phantom pain. It all depends. It depends who your surgeon was. It depends how they cut your nerves. It depends how they rehome your nerves. It depends if you do mirror therapy or you... all sorts of things. There are tons of things that depend. Yes, you will have some kind of nerve pain. I get nerve pain occasionally that's bad. It's not debilitating, but occasionally it'll stop me in my tracks. And then nothing. So, no. People, there just seems to be this thought that amputees just have this horrendous pain all the time, and it's not true. You are not always at the risk of that. If you're planning on having an amputation, if you're looking at an elective amputation, then do your research. Make sure you pick a surgeon. Make sure you know how they're going to operate. I drilled my surgeon, a poor guy, on everything. I knew exactly how he was going to operate. I knew exactly what he thought best practice was to handle nerves, and I knew what my anaesthetist thought best practice was as well, because the way that your nerves are numbed for surgery makes a difference on long-term nerve pain, apparently, so the research says. So, it's not, every amputee you see doesn't struggle with debilitating nerve pain. Get it occasionally, sometimes it hits me, but yeah, other than that, all good. So a lot of people do, but it is not an all amputee thing. So people, I think, look at you and think, oh, that poor girl. It's all good. Don't think, be a poor girl. Everyone will stare. My God, I heard this so much before I chose to amputate. Oh my God, in fact, it was kind of ridiculous, the amount that I got spoken to about the social stigma of amputations, and, you know, I was playing psych visits and all that kind of stuff, like, how are you going to deal with the social stigma, and it was just, like, so much wank about the social stigma of the look of amputations, and how are you going to manage looking at your body with a stump and not having a foot, and, like, because this, like, my brain, there are people, I say it with that tone, because that's just the way my brain works. But there are people who do struggle with that. I'm not trying to take away from that. If you're one of those people, like, girlfriend, do your best, or boyfriend, do your best at working through that. I can't relate. So for me, the whole social stigma thing, I don't get it. I do not notice people staring. I notice people staring when I carry a leg with me. So I like to gym in this leg, but I like to wear this leg every day. So this is really comfortable for walking. This one's better for the gym. So when I go to the gym, I wear this leg, and then I take this leg. They're $20,000, right? So a bit less, but let's round up, and let's call them like anywhere from $15,000 to $20,000. I don't like to leave this in the locker, which doesn't lock. I don't like to leave it hanging around in the car, because it's the sort of thing that some smart-ass little kid or teenager would steal just because I'm, oh, look what I stole. So I get a bit of separation anxiety, and I don't like leaving them anywhere. So when I walk around the gym with my prosthetic in my spare hands, yes, I notice people looking because I'm carrying a bloody leg with me. So yes, I notice then. Other than when I'm not carrying a leg with me and I'm just walking around on this bad boy, I do not notice people looking. I mean, I totally do not notice people looking. I think there have probably been an amputee for a year. I haven't had a prosthetic for a year yet. It's been 10 months maybe on a prosthetic. Even when my prosthetic was hot pink with flamingos on it, I did not notice people looking. In fact, there have been moments when I was talking to someone and I've been like, oh yeah, like because of the leg. And they've looked down and said, oh, I didn't even notice. And I do not cover it. So I wear jeans to work that tuck in to the prosthetic. So this whole thing is out on display every day. And there are little people who've been like, oh, I didn't even see that. So for me, I'm going to say the myth that people are going to stare all the time and look at it and talk about it, I cannot relate to that. I'm going to say for me, that's a buster. No. When you carry a spare leg with you, yes. On the odd occasion, I've noticed somebody look. I've noticed kids occasionally, but it's like eyeball height for children. Oh, look at that leg. But really, I don't really see people look. And a lot of people don't notice, probably because I wear black jeans or black tights a lot. So it kind of blends in a little bit maybe, but even with my other leg. I do think that it's because my gait is so good, so my walking pattern, I don't walk with a limp at all. Not at all. And for, I would say, a couple of months I had a bit of a limp while I was getting used to my leg. A few months, literally, maybe 2 or 3 months after I took my leg home, I had a bit of a limp. After that, you cannot tell from the way I walk. So that probably helps. If I had a big limp, I think people might notice a bit more. But for me, no, people do not stare all the time. And yeah, you're going to struggle with the social stigma. You're going to struggle with what people think and with the look of the stump. I don't know, it's a stump. I mean, they're not pretty. I don't think they're pretty, but whatever. Sure, it's not my foot, but this looks like a foot, so, if it's a shoe, it's a foot. Yeah, so for me, no, people are not going to stare all the time. What else do we have? That's probably the biggest one. I also hear that I think a lot of people think you can't wear your leg a lot. I've had a lot of questions about how often I can wear my leg, how long can I stay in my leg. This is really different for everybody. But the notion that I can only wear a leg for a few hours and I have to take it off, for me, no. I got to take my leg home. So when you first start at the hospital, you do rehab like 3 days a week. They let you wear it and then they wear your leg for an hour and then they take it off you and that's it. Then they give it to you to take home, right? So they say, you only wear it for an hour and a bit and blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, okay, cool, whatever. Well, I took my leg home and I had a job interview the next day, so I was going to be wearing the leg and doing a ton of walking on it. So I just used forearm crutches and the leg so I could take a little bit of weight off the leg. And then I just kept doing that. So from day one of taking my leg home, I have been in it for a minimum, I would have been in it when I first took it home for 8 hours at a time probably. Absolute minimum 6 for a few weeks. And then after that I started wearing it all the time. So, from 6 o'clock in the morning until I have a shower and then I put my leg back on. So until, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night whenever I get into bed. And so now it's on from 6:30 in the morning until 10 o'clock at night. I'll have a shower, put my leg back on, and then it's on. So that's been the way for months and months and months and months and months and months and months. So probably only the first 2 months it was shorter, and after that, month 3 onwards, it's been on for 10 plus hours a day. Easily, no problem. So yeah, that's not really not like out of the leg all the time. It's not they can only walk for a little while. Standing, however, I can walk and walk for ages, but standing, the second I stand, but to be fair, my flesh foot today also crushed. As soon as I'm stuck standing, it swells, and I feel like my phantom one is swelling as well, so I hate standing, but walking's fine, moving around's fine, yeah, I can wear it for ages. I think feeling sorry is a big one. I've definitely had people say sorry to me. People I don't know, I'm so sorry. At the gym, the only time I've ever noticed people notice it is when I'm like in the change room getting changed, and I've had a few conversations with women because I take the leg off, so obviously people are going to look then. And I've had a few conversations with random women, and quite a few are like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm like, no, don't be. I'm sorry, it's fine. I'm here at the gym, I can back squat, I can deadlift, I can walk. It's great, don't be sorry. And I think because I'm young, there's just this immediate, there is a bit of a look that people give, I'll be honest. It's this immediate sort of like, I feel sorry for you look when they do notice it. Which at first I noticed, but now not so much. I'm just sort of like, whatever. And I think again, because I walk so well, people just don't really notice it. So, there are a couple of little, I guess, myths or things I've heard about amputees that I don't think are true, or my experience with them as an amputee. Anyway, random ramble for Amputee Awareness Week. There are some few things to be amputee aware of. Stay tuned because I'm going to post a video of my new house and do a little bit of a house tour and show you how it's set up. Again, people have asked me, well, if I've got all these special things in my house. Australia, you might be surprised that there is not as many as you think. And I'm also going to talk about my daily routine. Again, you might be shocked because this is another myth to bust that I even hear amputees talk about how, oh my god, the routine, my morning and my nightly routine and how much time it takes to put on the leg and all of that. Stay tuned because I will. You may also be surprised, because I am when I watch those videos, that it can possibly take people as long as they show that it takes. I think it's just so quick and easy to put a leg on in the morning. But apparently, a lot of people talk about the routine and how long it takes. So I'll bust that in another video in case you're interested. If you've made it this far, I hope you're a little bit amputee aware about some stuff. And happy Amputee Awareness Week. It's green. I don't have my little ribbon yet. When I have it, it's green ribbon. Green ribbon week. Green ribbon week? There you go. We'll finish on a blooper because you're lucky and I never ever get rid of them. Anyway, thanks for watching.